I know a lot of you know our next speaker, Bryan Feller, is the NCF guy, and you're looking and thinking, epic adventures. What is this? Does he wants to give major amounts of money? No, he wants to have some fun. He wants to show you how to have some fun. So here you go.
All right, let the fun begin. Hey, a couple of years ago, by the way, our tagline, Extreme Pursuits in Cahoots, we can thank Bob Shank for that. He named that. A couple of years ago, Bob Shank, Steve Esser, Jim West, Greg Lath, I think you're out here with Convene, myself, started getting together for coffee, not around a board table, but just for coffee as friends, and we've been meeting for about 2 years on and off and asking ourselves the question, what might the Lord want to do through us that's bigger than us by us just being friends and working together with no agenda? So it wasn't a marketing meeting, there's no whiteboard. And one of the things we came up with was this idea that we want to see, there's about 8,200 people in our bigger community in Southern California that we know of. And we want these folks, we want all of you folks to get to know each other in a deeper way. And as we started pondering what that looks like, you know, one of the most powerful ways that we build relationships is through adventure. And so, no, Epic Adventures is not us creating a bunch of events for all of you to come to. It's a little bit more than that, so let me walk you through it. We've got a website, epicadventures.world. You can go to it. There's some adventures up there already. I put a few on there. I'm trying to lead by example, but they're pretty extreme, so you know, some of you may not be up for all of those. But what we want to do is invite us to post your own adventures. I know of a number of ministries that do overseas trips. What a powerful way to change your mindset, to get to know people in ways that you'd never get to know them. When you're in the dirt and you stink and you're on a bus, you get to know people really well, more so than in a board meeting. And so we want to invite you, people that are vetted on our community, to post those kinds of trips, post camping trips, post RV trips. I know of folks that do motorcycle touring. Well, I'm sure there's other people in our community that might want to go on a motorcycle tour with you. And so we want to facilitate those connections and those meetups. I'm doing a couple, there's an ad for Adventures in Fatherhood on the last page of your book. One of the most powerful things for kids is, as a dad, is to get to know them through adventure. My son and I, my son recently kind of came back to the Lord. He came back to the Lord. And he came back to the Lord kind of after a series of adventures. There was suffering and pain and misery and glory on the top of high mountain peaks in the Sierras. I never talked to him about Jesus. He did. And it was through those bonds that we made through adventures. So we want to facilitate that happening in our community. Besides adventures, we want to do meetups. I see some of you cyclists post Strava maps on Facebook where you're riding around and you're being GPS tracked. I know there's folks that do paddleboarding, surfboarding, hiking, climbing. I have a meetup that I posted on our page already. If anybody wants to go rock climbing at the Sender One Gym off the 55, some of you have seen it. I'll be there on Tuesdays, so sign up. If you've never rock climbed before, sign up anyway. It might be fun. I know some of you need a theology, so I'm going to give you a theology of adventure. Most of us try to spend our whole lives trying to get here, especially our financial lives, and it kind of spills over into everything else. And when we get there, there's not a whole lot going on. It's a good place to rest. All the magic really happens out here. Now, I spent a little time out here. I put sea monsters to illustrate my point, but I try not to think about those times. You know, too far out of your comfort zone, it's a bad thing. But getting out of your comfort zone is one of the fast tracks to you growing as a person, you growing spiritually, you getting to know people. One of my favorite quotes I want to read to you is, "I'm losing precious days. I'm degenerating into a machine for making money. I'm learning nothing in this trivial world of men. I must break away and get out into the mountains to learn the news." Does anybody know who said that? No. John Muir said that in about 1870. That's John Muir with Teddy Roosevelt in Yosemite. Most famous camping trip in history. Most of our national parks came out of that camping trip with those two. How much more relevant is that statement today than it was when John Muir said it in 1870? We spend too much time doing and not enough time getting out and building relationships with one another. So I want to invite you to fill out the response form. Go to the webpage, find some event. If you don't find something you want, post one, because we want to host where you're going. I'm not a surfer. I'm afraid of getting my feet bit by sharks. But if you are, post an event. When are you going to surf? Invite people with you. We want to facilitate that to happen. And attend an event and then repeat that stuff often. Thank you.
Bryan's Epic Adventures is on page 41, so take time, fill that out, drop it in the box, and join that. That'd be fun. There's a lot of great things that can happen on those trips, especially if you can bring your kids along with you and share that with them. It'll change your life. So be sure and do